scarlet blaze, shifting history. 5 months have passed since the attack on the Emperor, and 1182 nears a close. Though each army schemes, the battle maps barely change. But now, history is about to resume its course.
Today is a momentous day in Fódlan's history that people will mark for generations to come.
Then why do you look so conflicted?
I'm not conflicted, Claude. I'm just painfully aware of how much stronger I need to be. That's why I'm counting on you and the Alliance to make up the difference.
Hey, I've got feeling unprepared down to a science, so let's say we help each other out. If we work together, we can achieve what's best for both of us, right?
Indeed.
I have reviewed the terms, Your Majesty. All that remains is the placement of your seals.
Everything looks good to me. I'm especially glad we found a solution to the control of Murden.
You've done fine work here, Hubert. Thanks. And thanks to you as well, Holst. You know I'm not good at this sort of thing.
I've never known you to shy away from ceremonial affairs like this. But it is the most significant pact since the founding of the Leicester Alliance, so your caution was most prudent. I must admit, I was quite nervous. Thankfully, I managed not to follow it up.
You surely jest. You did your work masterfully, without batting an eye. I am truly impressed that Leicester's most valiant general is so well versed in diplomacy.
Don't be insulting, Hubert. Sir Holst is a duke. A man can be brave in battle and still know how to get things done. Take our Minister of Military Affairs, for example.
A man for whom the term looks can be deceiving was likely invented.
Speaking of Count Burgleys, where is he? I thought he'd be here so we could go head-to-head. We never did get to finish our battle.
I'm afraid the Count couldn't make it, but perhaps you'd consider my bodyguard instead? I'm certain you'll find the challenge to your liking. Is this your first time meeting, by the way?
It is. Well, friend, care to go around with me?
They say this Holst character is the strongest man in Leicester. But is he as strong as the Ashen Demon?
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Now that's what I like to hear.
I hope you mean later and not this very second. It would be a shame to get blood all over this nice paperwork.
Yes. All eyes are on us. We must make this a grand gesture and show our soldiers that Adrestia and Leicester have joined forces for a brighter future.
Well, let's get to it. As leader of all the lords and knights who sit at the round table of the Leicester Alliance, I, Claude von Regan, hereby swear this pact. Leicester pledges to work in harmony with the Adrestian Empire and do everything in its power to secure a peaceful future for Fódlan.
By the covenant between the red blood and the white sword that crowns the double-headed eagle, I, Edelgard von Hresfeld, hereby swear this pact. Adrestia pledges to work hand-in-hand with the Leicester Alliance to deliver peace to the land and secure a future for all its people.
The pact is sealed.
And now it is our job to uphold it.
Goodness, look how far you've risen. You're standing on the stage of history. I know you'll do great things. Yes, and greater things still.
Right then, we've got plenty of bright new faces here at the round table today. First, a brand new count ruling Gloucester, and Duke Goneril and Count Ordelia have decided that their heirs will sit for them.
Unfortunately, Lawrence and Lysithea can't join us, due to their responsibilities in the Imperial Army.
I called you here to give you notice. The Leicester Alliance is assenting to the Empire's request and sending troops to the Kingdom front. Houses Regan, Gloucester, and Daphne will be supplying most of the soldiers. And instead of the usual route through Aelel, we'll be invading Fraldarius directly by sea.
You're staying behind, right, Host?
Indeed I am. Almyra is still an unknown quantity, and we've no idea if or when Prince Shahid might stage another attack. And the same goes for House Ordelia. They've had more than their share of troubles on their border. We agreed that shipping their army away might not be the most prudent of ideas.
And that's all she wrote. You'll find the details in the document you've all been given. I wish the kingdom would see they're between a rock named Adrestia and a hard place named Leicester and throw that white flag high, but of course they won't. So good luck, everyone. I'm counting on you.
And so, the Alliance has agreed to bring their troops to bear and attack the kingdom from the east. At the same time, we will resume our invasion from the west using Aryan Road as a foothold. We'll subjugate the kingdom's lords one by one as we work our way toward Blythe.
News of the pact will doubtless have spread throughout the kingdom by now. Provided enough houses see the futility in fighting, we may be able to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. However, that is likely wishful thinking. We should instead expect the worst and prepare accordingly.
You think? Some of them already bent the knee to us once, along with Count Rowe. Wouldn't they jump at a chance to swap sides again?
An idea I am certain has already occurred to the king. Lately, we have been scrambling to reorganize, dealing with an attack by the Knights of Seros and negotiating a pact with Leicester. And during that time, the winds of purgation have swept across Fargus. In one fell swoop, the king has expunged most of the nobles likely to align with us.
Still, it's us and the Alliance against him, which means we've got the advantage. What's there to worry about?
The concern isn't that we'll lose. It's that winning might come at the cost of too many lives. What an utterly pointless, senseless thing to do. Oh, I find it all so very draining.
Whatever our intent, we're the instigators here. We can't expect the enemy to do anything less than defend their land with tooth and claw.
Speak for yourself. If someone invaded my territory, I'd hand over lands and titles on a silver platter, especially if I had no chance of winning.
There is truly no other noble like you, Leonard. And perhaps no person at all for that matter. Regardless, we must proceed with caution. When people think someone is after what they possess, they respond with fear, even if the thought is all in their head. In the eyes of the people of Fargus, there is no limit to what evils the Empire might visit upon them.
My father started saying he can't sleep because he's scared the old church is coming to Garrett Mock to kill him. From the sound of my mother's letters, he's really shaken up.
Remember that the kingdom has much coldness. We must not forget to be bundling up like people of the snow.
Our Petra is always ready for what lies ahead.
I wish I had better understanding of your Fodlan ways, so I could be giving more assistance to everyone.
Don't worry about it, Petra. With all the different factions in this thing, even we have a hard time keeping it straight. This almost seems so backward compared to the way things were in Brigid.
In any case, the battles ahead will be more brutal than any we have yet fought. Keep a vigilant eye out for both yourselves and each other. That is all. Dismissed.
Guess things aren't gonna be so easy anymore. We're under some real pressure to win.
What do you think?
Nuh-uh.
Do you have a moment? Let me see.
Listen up.
Huh?
Basically,
Oh, man. Uh-huh. Listen.
Got a sec?
Why would you want to speak with me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but no.
Oh no!
Unbelievable.
Let's see.
Oh.
You sure?
That's appalling.
Oh.
hey, could you spare a moment? I can't believe it.
Wonderful.
Hunger is the true enemy. Come back whenever you're hungry.
Greetings. In actuality,
Greetings. Actually.
Listen, excuse me. Ah.
Greetings.
Hello. What do you need? I agree.
hello there.
Nice one.
Yes.
That reminds me.
Let's see.
Let me think.
Yes. Shall we?
I have a strategy.
Hey,
What if we tried this? Just leave everything to me.
Shall we? What do you think?
Hey!
Do you have a moment?
Hunger is the true enemy.
Yeah, the flavor's not really there. Might want to try something different next time.
Wow, that hit the spot! I'm so glad we're friends!
oh, this looks great. I'm gonna demolish this puppy for sure.
Come back whenever you're hungry. Hunger is the true enemy.
Yeah, the flavor's not really there. Might want to try something different next time.
No. Did you really?
Oh, you did! This is my absolute favorite. Thank you.
Oh, yes. This is definitely one of the foods I love.
Come back whenever you're hungry. Hunger is the true enemy.
Yeah, the flavor's not really there. Might want to try something different next time.
This is one of my favorites. Thank you. This really makes my day.
Oh, I love this. Thank you very much.
Come back whenever you're hungry. Hunger is the true enemy.
Solid, solid.
Someone knows my weakness. Thanks.
This is my favorite.
Come back whenever you're hungry. Hunger is the true enemy.
Yeah, the flavor's not really there. Might want to try something different next time.
Wait, for me? Great. I love this stuff.
Hey, my favorite. You sure know how to brighten a guy's day.
Come back whenever you're hungry.
Care to make yourself useful?
Counting on you both.
My sword is yours.
Oh yeah, we've got this!
We all must do our fair share.
Oh, Edelgard. I'm glad I found you. Got a few?
Of course. What is it?
Well, remember how Hubert laid into me after the Knights of Seiros raided Enbar? It got me thinking. What do I need to do for you to trust me again?
Nothing. Hubert and I stopped doubting you the moment that business was behind us. You work tirelessly for me, and I'm grateful for that. So please, there's no need to worry.
Still, we have no idea when those who slither in the dark might try to interfere again. Honestly, it kind of feels like there's more I should be doing to help. Like I'm just floating around without a purpose or something.
Very well. What do you propose?
If I had to pick something, I'd say protecting you would be my top priority. Everyone's got a bone to pick with you, especially the Church and those who slither in the dark. And they won't rest till they have your head. After all, the Imperial Army's not gonna lose if we've got you at the top handing down orders. And I figure Hubert'll stay off my back as long as I put my energy into keeping you safe. Then you can lead us to victory, and we'll all live trustfully ever after.
Perhaps, but I think you're forgetting something. The only way to protect me is by staying at my side, and therein lies a conundrum. Allowing you that close to me would in itself be proof of my trust, without which you would have never earned such an opportunity in the first place.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Still, I can't help but feel like that's what I've got to do to prove myself to you. Please, Edelgard. Even if it just means shielding you from your enemies.
Very well. Do as you will. In the meanwhile, I'll tell Hubert... Well, I'm not entirely sure what I will tell him. At the very least, we know those who slither in the dark are able to shapeshift at will. So, in a way, it doesn't matter who I choose to surround myself with. They could just as well turn out to be someone wholly different.
Thanks, Edelgard. I honestly could have sworn you were gonna say no.
Of course. What I truly want to know is why you'd risk your life just to earn my trust.
Do you really have to ask? You reshaped my entire life. Before I met you, I had nobody. I was nobody. But you still chose me of all people to command one of your armies. Now I can't walk down the street without people yelling my name. And I've got a great life surrounded by amazing friends. All of it possible because of you.
That's not true. You would not have earned this post if you lacked the talent.
Maybe now, but before you came along, nobody in the Empire gave a Pegasus's backside about talent. You gave me a seat at the table when no one else would.
Ah, I see.
If you want proof you've changed the world, just take a look at me. Because this gal, she's a whole new person thanks to you.
This war is going on and on. Do you think we will ever have sight of the end?
Yeah, I do. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but it's definitely out there on the horizon.
It will be good to be putting this war behind us. When the war is finished, what are you wishing to do?
That's a pretty big question.
Then I will give more clarity. How will you be supporting yourself when your contract is completed? If you have the desire, you could come to Bridget with me.
Wait, seriously? I thought you were just pulling my leg about that.
I would never be pulling your legs. Also, I am speaking with seriousness. After losing the war with the Empire, Bridget was forced into becoming a vassal state. But this war is giving Bridget the chance to stand on equal feet again. We will be opening our borders to Fodlan. The exchanges between us will flourish. I am needing a person I can trust to give me help with this. Please, accept my apologies if the offer was given with too much suddenness.
No, it's not that. I was just taking a moment to admire you. This war has been particularly ugly, and it seems like we're tearing each other apart on a daily basis. But people like you and Edelgard are already thinking about what comes next, how to plan for it. You're every bit the ruler they are.
No, I am different. I am the Queen of Bridget. We are the proud Isles, placed upon the sea by the spirits, who are watching over us to this day. Our future has the brightness of the sun. I am hoping you will be at my side as we are shaping it.
Powerful words. And I'm happy you put that much stock in me. Honestly, it's a good fit. I've got nothing tying me down. No family, no titles, no property to speak of.
I am not asking for your answer in this moment. I know your sword is sold right now. But when this war is over, I hope the making of a decision is at the top of your to-be-doing list. That is why I am approaching you so early. Because I am very, very sneaky.
Fair enough. I'll keep that in mind. And I don't blame you for trying to sneak ahead of the competition. Honestly, I'm kind of flattered. So, how about this? Let's both make it through this war unscathed and decide what comes next together. Yuritsa? What's wrong?
Not here, either.
Hey, hold on. If you're looking for someone, I'd be more than glad to help.
Leave me be.
Friendly as ever, I see. You know, it's kind of hard to believe you and Mercedes are related. Why don't you let me help you? You seem worried.
How could you tell?
You're not exactly hiding it. You nearly busted the chapel door clear off its hinges.
I'm looking for someone. She is injured.
Huh? Did someone go missing from the infirmary? Wait, are you talking about an enemy?
Not an enemy. However, she fled when she saw me.
Well, then why would she run? Oh, I get it. Was it Bernadetta?
Not her. Though, the one I seek was likely frightened by me as well.
Well, you're not really the most approachable guy. There's kind of this murdery aura about you. Like, if I let my guard down for even a second, it'd be the last thing I ever do.
That is not my intention.
I know that, but you'd probably still scare the life out of someone who's already jumpy. Even a beast would turn tail and run if it caught sight of the Death Knight.
Then, what would you suggest? I will never capture her at this rate.
Why don't you just let me help you? You know, strength in numbers and all that. She wouldn't be able to get away if there are two of us out looking.
It is vexing when she flees, yes. But this matter does not require assistance. Time is wasting. I must go.
Wait, Yuritsa? Is he really gonna be okay? Oh, hey, Happy. You sure like the outdoors, huh?
I guess you could say that. Probably because I grew up in a forest. Or maybe it's because I was forced to live in Abyss all that time.
Oh, that's right. You were at Garreg Mach too. I wasn't there for very long. But I never would have guessed there was a whole town hiding just below my feet.
Well, it was. I should know. What about you, though? What did you do before hopping into the mercenary business?
Before that? Well, I lived with my mom in a village deep in the mountains. Feels like forever ago now. Oh, I call her my mom, but we weren't actually related. She was more like a foster parent.
So what was she like? I don't suppose she was interested in magical research, was she?
I don't know about research, but yeah, she knew how to use magic.
Interesting. How did you two end up living together?
I don't really know the details. I can't remember anything from before I was with her. Apparently, I was a foundling. Sadly, finding a starving, abandoned child isn't that uncommon. But for her to take me in and raise me as her own, I think my mom was someone special.
Yeah, I guess. She was probably a good person.
Something on your mind, Happy?
I was just wondering why someone who could use magic was living in a remote mountain village.
You know, someone told me one time that she wasn't actually from there. But when I asked her about it, she just gave me this sad smile.
Very interesting.
Seriously, Happy, what's going on? Does it have something to do with my mom?
No, it's nothing. Sorry to bring it up. I was just letting my imagination get the better of me. Sorry if I upset you. Really.
I'm fine. Don't worry about it. No big deal. Besides, I'm sure you had your reasons, right? If you ever feel like talking about it, I'm always here.
Thanks. Just some old demons of mine.
Happens to the best of us. Don't sweat it. You want to head back and get something to eat?
Sure. Oh, and we can pick some berries on the way. I think I saw some a little bit ago.
What kind? After all my time in the mountains, I'm something of a berry expert myself.
Hey, I was wondering if I could ask you something. I heard that you don't have any parents. Is that right?
Yeah, the woman who raised me died, and I don't even know who my birth parents are.
That must be tough for you, huh?
Nah, it's okay. They all died a long time ago, so I don't feel sad or anything like that now. But I do wonder who I really am sometimes. I don't have even the slightest memory of my birth parents.
Well, you might not know who you are, but you still work hard and you keep your chin up through it all. That makes you super strong in my book.
Hey, Raphael. Your parents are gone too, right?
Yeah, both my mom and pa died in an accident.
Well then, you're just as strong as I am. You work harder than anyone I know, and you do it all with the biggest grin in the world.
Of course! It's easy when you love training as much as I do. Hey, I just realized something. We've sure got a lot in common. Our parents aren't with us anymore. We're both commoners scraping our way through this war, and most importantly...
What can be more important than that?
Both of us have got some serious brawn!
I appreciate that, but our body types are completely different. Not sure this really counts as brawn.
Sure, you're a little scrawnier than me, and maybe a lot smarter. But you know, my brain's been getting a constant workout ever since we opened the inn.
You have an inn?
Oh, yeah. I went home and started one up with my grandpa and little sis once the academy shut down. Running a business like that takes a surprising amount of muscle. Sure, there's regular stuff like hauling things around, but you need brain power too. If you ever want to make a profit, you have to pay real close attention to keeping the books straight. I mostly let my sis handle that stuff though. That muscle still needs more work for me, which means I'm in charge of the cooking. But that has its own share of problems.
Yeah, it can be tough to find your footing when you switch jobs, especially if you have to start doing things outside your wheelhouse. Trust me, I've had my fair share of growing pains getting used to the army life. Everything's way different from how it worked with my merc groups.
But don't you just fight? That doesn't seem so different to me.
As a mercenary, the only thing you're responsible for is yourself. Show up and do the job right, and you'll get your pay. But having soldiers to command, people I'm in charge of beyond just myself, that's a huge change for me. And there's way more to military work than just plain combat. Stuff like managing resources, making sure everyone has the weapons and armor they need. I don't think I'm bad at math per se, but it's definitely not something I'm used to doing. And the more stuff there is to keep track of, the harder it all gets.
Hey, you're not so good at using your brain either. We're practically twins. That makes us pals now, right? I've got your back. So you just keep on working hard, buddy.
Right back at ya. Let's keep fighting the good fight.
I'll do my best.
Let's clean up.
Follow me, soldiers of the Empire.
I will prepare the Scarlet Path.
Another day, another stage to conquer. It's time for battle. We must protect our allies no matter what.
We will surmount this challenge together. Here I go. No, they must learn.
I've got it. Let's give it a shot.
Shall we? Let's give it a shot. Leave this one to me. That... I'm getting better, but at what cost?
Looks like that's it for us.
Every time I grow stronger, I'm thrown into another battle. It's vicious.
Makes my job easier.
Watch this! All would be lost if I were to die here.
Let's get started.
Gotta get it together.
Yeah, right.
My word! Fight like this, I'd be bleeding all over the place!
Success was to be... Here I go. No mistake. They must learn.
I've got it. Let's give it a shot.
Leave this one to me.
That's expected.
Maybe this. Untouched.
Let me help you.
We're done for. The rest is up to you.
Dear goddess. This is it. Are you ready?
This battle will make a fine stage for my debut.
Please retreat.
I'll take over.
Shall we? Let's give it a shot. Leave this one to me. That's my...
Is that all we've got? Stand aside! Get out of my way!
This isn't my day.
Wounds are severe. I have to fall back.
You will not fall in vain.
You're so...
For the fate of Fodlan.
Strong, Edie.
Say all you want. I will crush all obstacles in my way.
Nice one.
Knowing when to retreat is a vital strategy.
No way.
Here goes.
Stand back. You'll have to take things from here.
not losing to anyone!
Shall we? Let's give it a shot. Leave this one to me. That's my cue.
Here I go. No mistake. They must learn who...
I'm going. Don't let me bend it now.
You're safe now.
Stay vigilant.
I'm all right.
I'm going. This is ours now. I won't back down. I must tread more carefully. Please retreat! Sorry! Sorry, but we'll be taking this. Ready?
Nice try!
I need assistance.
On my mark.
You can leave this to me. This is it. I'm the star now. I can do this!
Take on anyone!
I can do this! Apologies. We would never have withstood that without everyone's help.
We've finished laying out where the troops will be positioned, Claude. But, are you sure about this?
Am I sure about what?
This isn't even remotely like a standard attack formation. It's like you're going out of your way to limit casualties.
Not true. The moment the enemy drops their guard, we'll swarm them like a pack of bees.
And if they don't drop their guard?
Then I guess we'll just sit here making angry faces at each other.
Okay, come on. This strategy is not helpful.
Look, just by being here, we're drastically reducing the number of kingdom soldiers the Imperial Army has to deal with, right? Which means we don't have to kick our troops into action until the Empire has marched further north. Once they're positioned to seize Blythed territory, that's when we'll move.
And if it all goes wrong, the losses could have catastrophic consequences for the future of the Alliance.
I'm not used to you being so worried about the big picture, Hilda. You've grown.
I wasn't going to stay a kid forever, you know.
Apparently not. I'm impressed.
Look, Hilda, I promise you, your fears are misplaced this time. The Empire's already compensated us for any potential losses, and will continue to do so. You don't think I would have signed that fancy pact if they weren't taking care of us, right?
Sure, but are they good for their word? Because I have doubts about that. I want to believe the pact will hold, I really do. But they strike me as folks who won't think twice about sticking an axe between your shoulders if the situation calls for it.
Fortunately, I can be pretty ruthless myself when it suits me. If I don't like something the Empire is doing, it might even be me who ends up breaking the pact.
If that's supposed to make me feel better, it is absolutely not working.
Easy, easy. I'm just throwing out a what if here. Just promise that you'll always have my back, even when things look their worst, all right? I need you.
Oh, fine. But only because it's you.
A report, Your Majesty. The Imperial Army marches on western Fargus.
Just when we'd brought peace back to the area, too. We should get ready to provide aid at once.
Rodrigue has already been dispatched to Mateus, along with all the soldiers I can currently spare. And I've sent Annette and Gustav to the Baron's side. Though if it's for better or worse is yet to be seen. I don't doubt we'd all ride to the rescue if we could. But that's clearly not possible given the situation.
Agreed. Now that Claude's joined up with the enemy, we can't risk doing anything foolish. If we move our soldiers even a breath away from the northeast, the Alliance will be all over us.
All we can do now is divide our forces to keep the enemy in check and meet their attacks as they come. We never should have let this happen in the first place. But who could have seen the Empire and Alliance forming such a union?
Or, are you seriously going to just stand by and watch? They'll overrun us if we don't stem the tide.
Though it smacks of desperation, I'm told the Western Front has enlisted the services of Gerald's mercenaries. They're the same band that carried the battle at Magdred Way. So I hope we can make good use of them again.
Is this really the plan? Burn through mercenaries while we hole up here?
Do try not to be so grim. The Empire has pushed rapid reforms on the land over these last few years. Not everyone was happy to have such changes thrust upon them, and that includes their new friends in the Alliance. The Empire is leaning over the kingdom with such greed that they might yet trip over their own feet.
Do you think there will be revolts?
I'm certainly not going to plan my strategy around it. But there have been whispers, yes. The old ways must die. With that I agree. But shove that down the people's throats and you risk breaking the very land you're trying to rule.
Yes. We've grappled for years with the aftermath of trying to enact reform.
Change is a painful process. But rushed change will set the region to rot from the inside out.
I wonder why they're so intent on doing this the quick and dirty way.
It's difficult to say. Perhaps were things different, we might have found some common ground, some harmonious way forward. But I've lost too many I care about to this war. Ingrid chief among them. When I think about what they fought for, what they died for, there can be no turning back.
Huh.
Right. Right.
I'm going to doze off. I just know it.
You don't expect me to go out there and fight?
I will prepare the Scarlet Path.
I'm ready to be battling. We will be making it through this.
Both the life to be saved and the life seeking to save. You'll forget it. What a hassle.
Maybe we should just run away?
Lend me your strength!
Oh, if I must. Leave this to me.
Right then. Let us go to work.
It's Bernie's time to shine! Sure hope this goes okay.
Begin. The Sky Spear.
What a pain.
Are you sure?
We'll have these defenses crippled in short order.
The enemy's stronghold will be ours.
I'm not afraid of you! Help me! Someone! Anyone!
Objective fulfilled.
Wait, it's ours? I did it, everybody!
Lend me your strength!
Our teamwork is becoming excellent.
It's Bernie's time to shine!
Wounds are severe. I have to fall back.
We're done for. The rest is up to you. I'm all right.
I can still fight!
I can't take much more of this!
I can't just sleep. Always be prepared.
No one's gonna call me Bernie Bear again.
It's a curious feeling to see one's classmates performing so admirably.
Out of my way! Stand down!
Have to be strong to survive, I guess.
All done. What is the next order?
We did it!
I'm swapping in!
It's Bernie's time to... Sure hope this goes okay.
Oh, if I must. If my assistance is needed.
Away!
I gain control of the stronghold.
Yeah, right. Still fight.
The pain.
Begin. The Sky Spear.
Me? I can't do this!
There are avenues that yet remain open to us.
Sorry, but I gotta fall back.
I can't believe that worked! You got this, Bernie!
Orders have been carried out. What comes next? Oh, not
Knowing when to retreat is vital strategy.
No, not yet.
Not today!
I will defeat the purpose of all this.
It's Bernie's time to shine! You need some backup?
Right then.
Pain.
I won't ever forget your kindness.
This is exhausting.
War feeds my body and mind.
Can't fight like this. I'm bleeding all over the place.
I have finished with great success.
This is all my fault.
I would never be leaving my friends to die.
Battle does have its benefits.
Wow, I did it!
The Imperial army will soon be knocking at our door. Why haven't Duval and Dominic stopped them?
Baron, you'll never reclaim the title of Viscount your Lord Uncle lost if you go weak in the knees. Letting yourself be pressured into betraying the kingdom will see you cast out of the aristocracy for the rest of time. And your fickle nature would earn you the derision of both the kingdom and the Empire alike. They'll view you the same way they do Count Rowe.
I care not. I've no interest in going to my grave just because I drew the shortest straw.
Sorry to interrupt, but I figured you'd want to know we finished cleaning up the enemy's advanced troops.
Excellent. You certainly live up to your esteemed reputation, Captain Geralt. I've never met a more reliable band of mercenaries in all my years. It's a shame we only engaged you for the one contract. I don't suppose we could convince you to extend your term of service. His Majesty the King has heard tale of your exploits. I could arrange for an introduction.
Appreciate the offer, but that would mean going to Ferdiad. I've got reasons for avoiding that place, so thanks, but no thanks.
I see. It will be a shame to lose you, but I won't pry.
It's nothing against you or the kingdom, mind you.
Then I'll hold out hope we might fight alongside each other again someday. Now, if you'll excuse me, the Baron and I must inspect the camp. Best of luck to you in battle, Captain.
You feeling any better? I have to say, I'm still not used to this new look of yours.
That makes two of us. But it will bother me less once I'm on the battlefield.
If you say so. With the war and the state it's in, the Empire is throwing everything they've got at this thing. I don't know if it's that or something else, but I've got a bad feeling. So watch yourself out there.
I will. You do the same.
Oh, right. I've been meaning to give you this. Never used to be without it. Cuts like a dream. I want you to have it. Swords like this are given to captains of the Knights of Seiros, and mine was just collecting dust in the band's convoy.
That's right. Alois mentioned you used to serve there.
That was a lifetime ago. I don't plan on swinging this sword ever again.
But are you sure you want to give it away? It must be quite special to you.
I'd be happiest seeing you get some use out of it.
Thank you. I'll do that.
Be good to it, all right?
Do you think this might work? We need to work with what we have.
Ah.
Supplies are the lifeblood of any army. Everything has its use.
Allow me to assist with any matters regarding the facilities. Let me know if I may be of further service.
What's up?
Time to work you into shape.
Another tool in the belt.
I will hew my own path with this power.
Gaze upon my splendid finery.
Well, don't I look splendid?
Look at that! Hope this is good for something.
Yes, this makes sense. I'll put this to good use.
Training can be the difference. With proper training, you'll be unstoppable.
Bernadetta. I see the documents I was waiting for have finally arrived.
Hubert! I'm not doing anything bad!
Then would you be so kind as to hand those over? They are addressed to me, after all.
Oh, right. Edelgard asked me to bring them. Phew, that was heavy. What are all these documents anyway?
Old records of bandit activity in this area that I need for my investigation.
Hey, that reminds me. I heard we had a group of bandits cornered, but they sort of got away.
Yes, a most vexing development. It beggars belief that our troops prove unable to exterminate even these few stray vermin.
Wait, are you angry?
Oh, I doubt it is worth raising my ire over.
That's good. But you look like you're angry.
Bernadetta, are you aware of how your persistence often leads to the very outcome you wish to avoid?
Yes?
In any event, my mood is what it is because I must now locate a den of rats. I will need to research previous stomping grounds, then cross-reference the location of their old lairs in order to work out where this new one might be.
Wow, that sounds like a ton of work.
Yes, but there is nothing for it. These craven rats will not re-emerge once they've burrowed into their nests.
Hey, neat! I definitely understand the desire to burrow in somewhere and never come out. But when there are festivals and stuff, they might slip up and leave? Maybe? Possibly? Everyone loves festivals, except when there are people around, which is usually the case.
Somehow I suspect you would not emerge for even the most magnificent of carnivals. However, you and the rats may differ on that point.
We do what now?
Yes, of course. Unlike you, these thieves have no particular desire to live away from others. We have had them on the run for some time, which means they've not been able to earn coin through their usual underhanded work. Thus, if I were to prepare a place where they could cut a few easy purses, they might consider the spoils to be worth the risk.
Okay.
And the bait shall be a festival. Due to the war, we have not held a genuine festival for quite some time, after all. So even if we do not capture the rodents, and it merely brings much-needed succor to the people, I would still consider it a success. Well done, Bernadetta. You have come up with a splendid idea that eluded even myself.
Why are you complimenting me out of nowhere? Are you plotting against me?
Not particularly, no. Although I am thinking I will require your assistance in this matter from now on.
No! Someone free poor Bernie from this torment!
Ah, Petra. Fancy running into you here. How are you acclimating to life in Her Majesty's army? We are constantly traveling all across Fódlan, so I'm sure there is a lot to adjust to.
I find myself being cold often, but the others have shown great kindness in telling me what to expect. I have no troubles.
Marvelous. I want nothing more than for you to fit in and feel comfortable. Know that there is a permanent place for you in this army, if you so desire.
No. I will be returning to Brigid when the war is finished. I am going to be queen. That day is approaching with quickness.
Yes, I am very much aware. And upon your coronation, Brigid will be released from its vassalage to the Empire. Her Majesty and your grandfather have agreed to this in secret.
For having consideration of Brigid's interests, I give Lady Edelgard and Duke Gert my gratitude.
As I understand it, the Minister of Foreign Affairs pursued this particular policy most vigorously. He has met with far more success, now that Lord Arundel is no longer around to impede him. I might even go so far as to say the Duke looks like a new man.
A new man? No, he's still being the same man.
Well, yes. I suppose you have me there. Regardless, I do hope that you can forgive us. Though we would very much like to make our agreement with Brigid public, doing so now would be most unwise.
I have understanding. The war of 7 years ago still has freshness in the minds of many. You do not want to give them cause for anger when this war has not reached its finish yet.
I'm glad you appreciate the situation, as I was certain you would.
But all in Brigid have knowledge of our agreement. Every man, woman, and child. If it is broken, they will have knowledge of that as well. Blood would be spilling.
Petra? Was that a threat?
Not a threat, a concern. I know I can place trust in the word of the Empire. The Emperor would never be breaking a promise. Would she, Hubert?
I beg your pardon, Queen Petra. Clearly I failed to realize that you had already ascended the throne. Rest assured, our promise will be kept. If Her Majesty and yourself are any example, the Empire and Brigid will support each other and walk into the future side by side.
And I have certainty that you will be there, witnessing it.
I'll show you what a mercenary can...
Follow me, soldiers of the Empire.
Understood.
There's no time to waste.
Let's earn our keep.
Leave it to me.
I will accompany you.
You can count on me. Allow me to...
Here I go. No mistake, everyone.
Starting the mission. Advancing.
This is bad.
I got this!
How does that please you?
We're done for. The rest is up to you.
I'm all right.
Take this!
Let's move!
Yeah, not bad.
Show me what you're capable of.
Watch this! Not a problem. Mooks. Don't mind if I do.
This grows troublesome.
I got this!
We did it!
Unfurl the flag!
Their win.
Here I go. No, they must...
Ness. Tedious. All too easy. It's over. You're weak. Unnecessary. Face me. Face me. I won't lose.
Wounds are severe. I have to fall back.
Okay, let's go.
Remorseless.
Here I go. No mistakes.
Not a problem. I've got this.
I got this! For the love of...
Face me. Tedious. Stand, coward. Your life is forfeit.
It's no use. We can't gain any ground.
Here it comes! You're done!
Inconsequential.
Time to make a name for ourselves!
Can't let it end like this. This is all my fault.
Retreat!
Their win.
Not a problem. I've got
Ness.
We're done for. The rest is up to you.
Your life is forfeit.
No, not yet!
You're weak.
I can still fight! I almost feel sorry for them!
I don't know how long I can hold out. Help me, please.
Stand, coward. Your life is forfeit. My life is a hollow possession.
You're in good form.
I face my comrades after this.
I'll take
right
over.
up.
Starting the mission. Is that an order?
Here I go. No mistakes. They must learn who they're up against.
On. My accomplishments won't mean a thing if I'm not still standing when the battle's over.
You're worth 1,000 soldiers. Watch this! They must...
Watch closely. The stronghold's ours! Watch out!
Yeah, right.
Still in the vault.
Moving on.
Lend me your aid!
Now, attack!
We won't be defeated! Out of my way!
Remain vigilant. Inconsequential.
I will prepare the Scarlet Path.
Just turn me loose already!
I'm going to doze off. I just know it.
The fight starts now.
Time for the pain parade!
I'll do what I can.
I'm on it. Just leave it to...
Right then. Let us go to work. I will see my...
Oh, if I must. Leave...
Time to wreck stuff!
This is nothing.
So this is defeat. I'm sorry.
What can I say? I'm on it. No charge. I'm that good.
All right.
I face my comrades out.
Not a problem. I've got this.
For this.
This stronghold will fall!
defeat the purpose of all this.
Any final words?
Nothing I can't handle.
To kill is to grow stronger.
Time to wreck.
Right then, let us go to work.
We're done for. The rest is up to you. Time to make a name for ourselves.
Thanks.
Just in case.
Take a breather.
You know what they say about playing with fire.
You're done!
Let's keep it going.
I'm getting stronger. The stronghold's out! I'm unstoppable.
Still fun.
Though yours is indeed a power that warrants caution.
How can I face my comrades
I've got
after this?
That was fortuitous.
This battlefield is ours.
I won't let myself stop here.
Indeed.
Greetings. There. Are you doing some research?
Yeah, I was just looking through records of past battles. Figure I'll probably run into some similar situations.
That's admirable of you. I thought that someone with a mercenary background would be a little more reckless with their fighting. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. That sounded a bit rude, didn't it?
No, you're right. My fighting style was pretty loose when I was a mercenary. Actually, I can't say it's really changed that much. But I've got more responsibility now, so I've had to adjust some. Any mistakes I make would only cause problems for everyone else, right?
Huh. You're much more studious than I thought. I can see why Edelgard trusts you so much.
You really think I'm held in such high regard?
That's what I've heard, at least. It's very impressive, especially since you're so young.
Thanks, Lysithia. And the same goes for you, too. For a kid, you're amazing at what you do.
Excuse me? Who is a kid?
Huh? Well, you are.
I must ask that you refrain from treating me like a child.
I wasn't trying to...
You said, and I quote, for a kid. I'm aware that people often treat me like a child, but to think you'd call me one directly to my face! I work harder and contribute more to this army than anyone else here. It is truly vexing that something as inconsequential as my age can dictate how people treat me.
I'm sorry. I had no idea you hated being treated like a kid that much.
This is not a matter of like or dislike. My belief is that those who fight alongside each other should treat one another as equals.
Well, yeah. I thought I was complimenting you as an equal, obviously.
Then there is no need for any qualifying language. You should compliment me as you would anyone else.
Hold on, didn't you tell me I was impressive for being so young? Doesn't that mean you assessed me based on my age too?
Me saying you're impressive in spite of your age is completely different than you saying I'm pretty good for a weak little baby.
Pretty sure I didn't phrase it like that.
But it's what you meant. Oh, I should have never complimented you.
You know, an adult wouldn't get all stubborn and combative like this.
I am not being combative. I'm simply having a normal conversation with you. Is that a problem?
What about this is normal to you?
Another step toward victory.
Why can't you just let me stay inside? Oh, great.
Imperial forces, attack!
So I can't just sit this one out?
Here I go. No mistakes. They must learn who they're up against.
Not a problem. I've got this.
Oh, if I must. Leave this to me. Though I am reluctant to do this, I can see no other choice.
Seems like fighting's all I do these days.
Take a breather.
Wait, it's ours? I did it! It's Birdie's time to shine! Everybody!
That was fortuitous. Dying would defeat the purpose of all this.
Watch this!
What a pain.
I'm dragging the others down.
We did it!
This is all my fault.
Tell me somebody saw that!
Always be prepared.
I'll give it a whirl.
Sorry.
Here I go. No, they must learn.
It's sure hope this goes okay.
Oh, if I must. Leave this to me.
Not a problem. Well, couldn't hurt. Not a problem.
Watch this!
This stronghold will fall!
Though I am reluctant to do this, I can see no other choice.
Already lost! I will end you! I must outwit even death. All would be lost if I were to die here.
I can't believe that worked!
You know what they say about playing with fire.
Oh, if I must. Leave this to me.
It's Bernie's sure hope.
This doesn't look good.
Dying would defeat the purpose of all this.
Well done.
So, this is kind of bad, right? Already?
Not a problem. I've got this.
Here I go. No mistakes. I'll provide some protection.
Oh, if I must.
What's next? You'll have to take things from here.
Tell me somebody saw that! I'm not afraid of you!
None will pass on my watch.
Take a breather.
Thanks so much.
Here it comes! You're done!
I'll take over.
I can't just sleep. Behold, a token effort. How's this?
Take a breather. Out of the way!
this! It worked! You've already lost! I will end you!
We're not losing to anyone!
They must Now you know the strength of the Adrestian Emperor.
No one should ever oppose the Emperor.
Stand aside!
I got this!
Unfurl the flag!
For the love of...
I won? Hey, I actually won!
For the fate of Fodlan! Very well.
Supplies are the lifeblood of any army. Everything has its use.
Allow me to assist with any matters regarding the facilities. Let me know if I may be of further service.
Care to make yourself useful?
I've got nothing to worry about with the two of you on the job.
So, Ferdinand, shall we finish this elegantly, like the nobles we are?
Indeed, Lawrence. That is what people expect of us, after all.
We all must do our fair share. Care to make yourself useful?
Counting on you both.
I don't know how much help I'll be, but... okay.
Come on, we'll do it together.
We all must do our fair share.
Marianne. You were really doing great during those drills today.
Oh,
I'm heading over to the mess hall. You want to join? After all that training this morning and no break, I'm starving. Oh, sorry, I forgot. You like to eat alone, right? Then don't worry about it. I'll find someone else.
No, I'd like to accompany you. If you would have me, that is.
You sure? All right then, let's go. I wonder what's on the menu today. Oh, man, that was good. I feel alive again.
Yes, that was nice.
By the way, why'd you decide to come along with me?
What do you mean?
You usually sit by yourself. I thought you didn't like eating with others.
Yes, I do feel more comfortable when I'm alone. I haven't been around people much, so I don't normally know what to say in conversations.
Well, now I'm even more curious why you decided to eat with me.
Well, you have a strange power, right? It makes you transform, or something like that.
Yeah. You curious about it?
It's not so much that. I wondered if you despised having it.
It does bother me, but I can't really put my finger on why. I know it makes people suspicious of me and curious about my background, but that's just how people are.
And yet you always have such a sunny disposition, and everyone here respects you. I wondered why that was.
I mean, I sure hope they respect me. So, that's why you wanted to join me?
I wanted to know how I could be like you.
Like me? But Marianne, it's not like you have some mysterious power tucked away, right?
No, I don't.
If you just want to make friends with people, then you don't need to think so hard about it. It's not like anyone here hates you.
Don't they? I'm so useless.
Hey, you're a huge help to all of us. I mean that. So you don't have to force yourself to act like someone you're not, okay?
All right. Thank you for saying that.
My muscles will see me through.
I'll do my best.
I'm all fed and ready to go. Whatever it takes.
I hope I can be of some use.
Here I go. No, they must learn who they—
Oh, if I must. Leave this to me.
Please, excuse me. I'm not sure I'll be much use, but I'm coming to help. My blood compels me.
Gotta get stronger.
Watch this!
You know what they say about playing with fire.
It probably won't sway you, but I recommend a swift withdrawal.
They must—
What a pain.
My wounds are severe. I have to fall back.
Success was to be expected.
Leave this to me.
Lose no matter what. Unfurl the flag.
I'll not falter. My word. Battle does have its benefits.
Here I go. No mistakes. They must learn who they're up against. Bringing it down. Watch this. I got this. I must outwit even death. How does that please you?
What a pain.
Here I go. They must learn who they're up against.
Behold, a token effort. How's this?
Still fights. What the?
Pardon me.
Let's do this!
Still fight. Sorry. I hope this location proves useful. Sorry. I wish I could just flee and avoid all of this fighting.
Yes, let them taste the Empire's might.
You shall pay for this, you hear?
Success was to be expected.
I'll give it a try.
I'll not falter. Just wait.
Have to be careful.
Much appreciated.
I'm so sorry. Dorte! Be with the goddess.
I'll take over.
There's still
already lost.
More I can do.
I will end you.
My board's amazing.
Stand aside.
I won't run away anymore.
You can reward me by letting me sleep in tomorrow. Battle does have its benefits.
I see. Right.
How about it? Right?
I'll show you what a mercenary can do.
I'm ready to be battling.
There's no stopping me.
Let's earn our keep.
I will find a weakness in the enemy.
United, we are unbeatable. Prepare to be amazed. Go for it. Here I go. No mistakes. They must learn who they're up against.
Begin. The Sky Spirit, watch.
Not a problem.
The enemy's stronghold will be ours.
I'm bringing it down. Attack!
I really should be more careful.
The spotlight is mine.
The stronghold's ours!
Are you perhaps in need of assistance? I'm all right.
Not a problem. I've got
Strength and beauty. What a pair.
Looks like we got a live one. Time to get in there and fight.
Witness our valiant efforts.
Damn it. Of course I succeeded.
We'll be in a good position if we can capture this stronghold. I was lacking caution.
Go for it.
You are mine! All done. What is the next order?
Enter Manuela.
I must tread more carefully.
Pay attention, class.
I'm in trouble here. Take a breather. Watch this.
You shall pay for this. You hear?
You are no match for me.
He's got to keep up with you.
I'll not fall.
My turn.
Let's carve a swath through the battlefield.
Yeah, not bad. I've got this.
Knowing when to retreat is a vital strategy. There were unforeseen circumstances.
I'll give it an honest attempt.
A fine hit! Let's carve a swath through the battlefield.
You are mine! I don't know how long I can hold out. Help me, please.
I won't lose.
Here it comes!
Wounds are severe. I have to fall back.
I'll take over. You've already lost. I will end you.
The goddess is smiling upon us today.
I won't let myself stop here. This'll help me break new boundaries.
That's so.
Time to work you into shape.
This is part of me now.
Who knew this power slept within?
That should come in handy.
Training can be the difference between victory and defeat.
One cannot achieve victory without challenge.
With proper training, you'll be unstoppable.
Allow me to assist with any matters regarding the facilities. Let me know if I may be of further service.
We'll soon arrive at Baron Mateus's lands. Once we claim them, all of Western Fargus, roughly 1/3 of the kingdom's territory, will be under the rule of the Empire.
House Mateus was demoted from a viscountcy to a baronage for their part in some sort of revolt. The current Baron Mateus, whose father was the previous lord, is hardly the most loyal subject of the crown. Removing him from the picture should be a simple matter.
However, the kingdom has sent the Baron help in the form of the former Duke Fraldarius, who they call the Shield of Fargus. So long as he holds authority here, we won't be able to break their soldiers' solidarity.
Rodrigue is Felix's father, right? That's unfortunate. Don't get me wrong, I'll fight whoever I need to. It just feels like we're pitted against familiar faces every time we turn around.
And that isn't all. Our reports indicate the enemy has hired Gerald's mercenaries. We know from personal experience how formidable those foes can be.
The Ashen Demon again.
Say, that reminds me. What are you planning to do about that exactly?
We can't keep letting one mercenary mess with our whole army. So just watch. I'm gonna take that monster out once and for all. Or at least slow them down, if nothing else.
That hesitance doesn't suit you. Not anymore. You're far stronger than the last time your paths crossed. Just say the words and I'll give you all the power I can muster. We will prevail.
I possess skill at leading surprise attacks, and Bernadetta would be making a good decoy. If we are all working together, we will reach our goal with much ease.
I get a say in this whole decoy plan, right?
I was only saying a fact, not asking you to be doing it. Please accept my apologies.
Oh, okay.
I hope you plan to leave some of the enemy for me. You are all so skilled. I often feel like the fifth wheel on a well-crafted carriage.
Don't downplay your talents, Ferdinand. You give us courage every time we step on the field.
I'm lucky to be surrounded by so many gifted leaders. With all of you at my side, there is no limit to what the Empire might achieve in the years to come.
Victory to the Empire! Yay!
Come on, Arval, seriously? You can't drag me off to sleep like this when the battle's about to start.
Sorry, but we need to talk. Do you remember the warning I once gave you? Well, I've been struck by a similar premonition now. Something feels wrong. Very wrong.
Last time this happened, the Ashen Demon showed up and nearly sent me to an early grave. You think the same thing's gonna happen today?
Hard to say for sure. But the feeling's worse this time around. Stronger. So if I had to guess, I'd say they're on the cusp of something terrible. An act far more dangerous than we previously imagined.
Well, whatever's happening, I'm just gonna have to stop it.
So long as you don't put yourself in any unnecessary danger, yes. Remember, your death would cut both of our destinies far too short.
Send a flower to battle and watch it bloom. Why can't you just let me stay inside?
Our enemy has placed Baron Mateus front and center, while Gerald's mercenaries are over with the main position.
We have no option but to defeat the enemy commander, Rodrigue. Anything beyond that, however, requires careful consideration.
It will take time to ready a path to the shore. Until then, let us begin by attacking the plain to the west.
Prepare to be amazed. Go for it.
Leave this one to me. That's my cue.
Oh, if I must. Leave this to me.
There's not a question of can. Leave this to me.
It's Bernie's time to shine. You need some backup?
Here I go. No mistakes. They must learn who they're up against.
The Empire's here! No! I'm too young to die!
Now there's a pitiful man. You're the lord of these lands. Show some pride!
Shore up your defenses! Do not permit the enemy to break through!
If we take down the strongholds surrounding him, we might convince him to lay down his arms.
Loose your arrows! Kill anyone who dares approach me!
The enemy is clearly desperate. Though, his projectiles will admittedly slow us down.
Though I am reluctant to do this, I can see no other choice.
Begin. The Sky Spirit.
Not a problem. I've got this.
Light is mine.
I'm bringing it down.
I can't believe it's come to this.
Now! Take this! Hey!
Who are these wimps?
Now you've done it!
One day, the war will be over.
Take this! Time for some punishment!
Take a breather.
Anyone mind if...
Prepare to be amazed. Go for it!
There's not a question of can.
I hide out one of these?
I will capture this stronghold.
Our swift strikes will be shaking the enemy's spirit.
I am your man.
Not a problem. I've got this.
Looks like you.
Oh, if I must. Leave this to me.
Leave this one to me. That's my cue.
Oh, if my assistance is needed, so be it.
Good. We've decimated the enemy's forward position.
I'm surrounded. I beg you, stay your hand! I happily surrender!
I trust the man roughly as far as I can hurl him. We may find it useful later.
The Emperor's roster shames the rest of us. I must find a way to distinguish myself.
Continue to the northwest and finish that path to the shoal.
Not a problem. I've got this.
There's not a question of can. Leave this to me.
Here I go. No mistakes. They must learn who they're up against.
Begin. The Sky Spirit watches over me.
Prepare to be amazed. Go for it!
Huh. I knew the Baron wasn't up to the task. We'll have to forestall the enemy ourselves. Move out and attack.
There have hidden sorcery engineers in this area who are preparing a fearsome magic that will lay waste to our foes. It did not take long for the enemy to spot our engineers. We should stage a rest of them if we can. We intend to use their talents to ravage the battlefield with devastating magic.
Their absence will completely... I'm getting better, but at what cost?
Alter the tide of battle. Rescuing them should be our top priority.
No mercy! This is war!
The enemy's stronghold will be ours.
Let's do this! It's not over. You like that?
Thanks for the rescue.
I will take all the strength I can get.
Leave this one to me. That's my cue.
Oh, if I must. Leave this to me.
Here I go. No mistakes. They... Good. Keep it up.
I'm all right. So far, so good. Though I'm prepared for something to go horrifically wrong any minute now.
I'm all for exercising caution, Lynn, but could you not be such a wet blanket?
No mercy! This is war!
Watch this!
Enter Manuel.
There's not a question of can. Only a leave this to me.
Not a problem. I've...
Now you've done it!
Stand down!
Though I am reluctant to do this, I can see no other choice.
Take this!
No, not yet!
An enemy detachment from the rear?
Let's do this!
Here I go. No mistakes. They must learn who they're up against. Take them out now. We can't afford the risk.
I will capture this stronghold.
Time for some punishment! Pay attention, class!
It appears all the engineers are safe. Now we can truly make the battlefield.
Now! Send your lightning crashing across the battlefield!
What horrible thunder! This sounds like a job for Luis.
Let's link up.
Let's do this together!
We'll do it together! I've got you now!
Good. Alois Luis's reinforcements have arrived. Might you go help our soldiers in the northwest, young mercenary?
Consider it done.
Oh, couldn't hurt.
I said I'd hand them the victory, and I'm not going to back down now.
Begin. The Sky Spirit, what?
Oh, if my assistance is needed, so...
There's not a question of can. Leave this to me.
Prepare to be... Go for it!
He's semi-reasonable. If we can pin him down, I think it is.
Please tell me you're not pointing that thing at my beautiful face.
My turn.
Watch this!
Oh, if I must. Leave this to me.
Here I go. No mistakes. They must learn who they're up.
Not a problem. I've got this.
Leave this one to me. Looks...
Oh, thank you. I wish I had your strength.
No mercy! This is war!
I'm tougher than I look.
Is that all?
Leave this one to me. That's my cue.
Begin. I've heard of you, Yuri. Perhaps we can forge a new arrangement that benefits us both. Gratitude.
Well, when you put it that way. I guess I would prefer not to get butchered. I must stop the enemy here.
We've cleared a way to the shoal. We can attack from the east now.
Finally. Form a pincer and bear down on Rodrigue's position from both sides.
Leave this one to me. That's my cue.
Here I go. No mistakes. They must learn who...
Oh, if I must. Leave this to me.
There's not a question of can. Only a matter of will. Leave this to me.
Only last long trying to hold them off from two directions.
Rodrigue's in danger. I better go back.
I have to convince the Empire I'm worth keeping around.
Destroy the bridge and cut the mercenaries off from the main force!
approach. I can't get back to Rodrigue.
Rodrigue has been cut off. Move in and strike before the mercenaries can rejoin us.
No! This is our chance to kill the Ashen Demon. There's no one to interfere.
Not a problem. I've got this.
I have to reach the commander as soon as possible.
We've come to help, Lord Rodrigue.
Spotlight is mine.
And not a moment too soon. Let's show them the steel Fargus is made of.
I'm here to end you for good.
Then do it. If you can.
Pay attention, class.
Wait. I'm bringing it down.
Now you've done it.
I'll knock
That stronghold went down.
One day the war will be over.
Like, oh, incoming!
I come bearing reinforcements.
There's not a question of can. Leave this to me.
Prepare to be amazed. Go for it.
There's not a question of can. Leave.
Now go and help your comrades!
You have nothing to fear from that rabble. Now remain calm and take the stronghold. I will capture this stronghold.
Not good enough.
The demon is too speedy. We are not having enough time. You've already lost. I will end you. Never.
The Empire will not be impeded. Leave this one to me. That's my cue.
Here I go. No mistakes. They must learn who they're up against.
Enter Manuela. Time for some punishment.
Nothing's stopping the demon. We're going to run out of time.
Now you've done it.
Why? Take this! Not happening! Sup? Hey!
My turn? You got my back?
Let's do this together!
We'll do it together! I've got you now!
There's not a question of can. Leave this to me.
Oh, if I must. Leave this to me.
Prepare to be amazed. Go for it!
None of you knaves shall pass! Is that really the best you can do? Well, it'll take more than that.
Right in the nick of time. I'll take it from here.
There's no avoiding a fight with the Ashen Demon now.
That's one beating too many. I leave the rest to you.
Though I am reluctant to do this, I can see no other choice.
I've never faced a challenge like this.
I'll not I shall never back down!
No escape!
Don't count me out!
Witness my truth! I can still win this. No, not again. I have to get out of here.
The spotlight is mine!
Happy to see the demon flee, but that erratic behavior concerns me. Allow me.
Leave this one to me. That's my cue.
Prepare to be amazed. Ready or not, here I come.
Here for me? You must be eager to die.
I shall There's not a question of can. Leave this to me.
Never back down!
You've already lost. I will end you.
This is nothing. Give me strength, Lambert.
Just in case. Much appreciated. A great help.
No, not yet.
Did I misjudge my chance to withdraw? Oh, if I must. I suppose needs must.
Prepare to be amazed. Need a hand, dear?
Leave this one to me. That's my cue.
I shall never back down! Forgive me, Felix. Protect His Majesty. And Fargus.
The enemy commander has been defeated. Grant no quarter to any soldiers who refuse to surrender.
I
I leave to take care of one backup squad and come back to this? What a mess.
Oh, if I must. Leave this to me.
Prepare to be amazed. Go for it.
Leave this one to me. That's my cue.
Here I go. They must learn who they're...
There's not a question of can. Leave this to me.
Not a problem. I've got this.
Time to send a few of you to the grave before Rodrigue gets lonely.
Well, now we know what happened to our reinforcements.
I don't remember agreeing to take the rear. I'll have to charge double for this.
I've got this! I can't afford such setbacks.
Stand aside! My way!
You've already lost! I will end you!
That's not good.
Yeah, right.
Too late to get away. It looks like you finally beat me. About time my luck ran out. Guess I'm overdue. The rest is up to you, kid.
I defeated the Blade Breaker. I can't believe it.
Randolph!
Don't worry about me, just go. Hurry!
I won't!
Please, Fleisch!
No! How could you? You monster! Hey! Don't leave me. Please, Randolph. This can't be real. Randolph, I'm so sorry. You're gone forever. And it's all because of me. It's all my fault.
Enough. You know that's not true.
But He could have escaped, and instead he stayed behind to protect me. And that's why that thing...
In that case, the fault is mine. I had the Ashen Demon cornered and couldn't close the deal. And then Gerald gave me so much trouble that I wasn't able to reach you in time. I could have prevented all this if I'd just been a little quicker. A little better.
That's not true. You saved me.
That wasn't me. It was Randolph. He gave his life for yours.
No. No,
I know there's nothing I can say now that will help. So instead, I'll let my sword do the talking. When I cut the Ashen Demon down.
You're more than capable of it, too. You had that monster right in your grasp. I only wish my premonition hadn't come true.
Gerald's... gone?
No. This is all my fault. I let them walk all over me. I left him unprotected. I'm sorry, Captain. I'm so sorry.
It is what it is. Mercenaries live short lives.
It did not have to be like this. Had you not scorned my strength, your father would yet live.
The Captain was a true titan among men. I... can't believe he's gone.
There is a way to solve this woe. Just grant to me your worldly flesh, and vengeance shall be yours. We must now send the whelp that killed your father to an early grave.
Do you mind taking command for a while, Eloise? There's something I need to do.
Well, yes, of course, but surely I can aid you.
No, this task is mine alone.
Very well. But don't you dare get yourself killed.
Yeah, not bad.
I will take all the strength I can get. I will not stop until I achieve greatness.
What a fascinating power.
To think I still have hidden talents.
The enemy commander, the former Duke Fraldarius, has been defeated. Now Mateu's territory and all the western lands of Fargus will yield as one to the Empire. Still, this battle came at a far greater cost than we are used to paying.
This is the most dead and wounded we have ever faced in a battle. Not to mention the loss of General Randolph. And yet, we might finally be rid of one of the greatest thorns in our collective side. Eliminating Captain Gerald was a masterstroke. If we are lucky, his band will fall apart without him.
Or it may throw them into a vengeful fury that makes them stronger and more united than ever. That's going to be a problem, especially with the Ashen Demon still roaming the land unchecked.
An intriguing figure, that one. And a crest-bearer for certain. We'd be smart to step lightly.
Guess that explains where all the awesome power is coming from.
But the Ashen Demon doesn't strike me as nobility, and only nobles have crests.
I'd posit the man standing next to you doesn't exactly exude nobility either.
The demon's hair exhibits new color. It is like something from one of Bridget's old stories. One will be chosen by the spirits and granted their protection. And with that protection, great power.
Can I just go on the record and say no to vengeance? I have zero interest in being revenged upon.
That's the risk one takes when entering battle, Bernadetta. Sadly, you can't take up arms and not expect reprisal. We have no control over whether they come for us or not. We can only control what we do next.
No way! No one's making me take my medicine!
If you insist on continuing to interrupt Her Majesty, you will have far more immediate things to fear than an enemy's nebulous vengeance.
Come to think of it, has anyone seen our mercenary friend?
I know what I told Fleisch, but did I really do the right thing?
Of course. You did what no one else could. The Ashen Demon may have escaped, but you got rid of their captain. There's no question you've grown, and next time, the Ashen Demon will fall.
But so many people died, including Randolph.
A price must always be paid for victory. And besides, Randolph is just one man.
One man who was handpicked by Edelgard, just like me. One man who shared all of our struggles. He was a good man and a fine ally, and now he's dead because of me.
I had no idea you cared so much. All the more reason to finish what you started. You can still make this death mean something, and I can give you the strength to do so. Now cheer up. Seeing you sad like this makes me...
Makes you what?
Yes, it makes me very... something. Tight in the chest. Anyway, stop frowning at me. I don't like it. No matter what anyone else tells you, I'm the closest ally you have. Remember, we're partners in destiny.
Are you prepared for this?
Honestly, I don't know. Gerald wouldn't want this. He didn't believe in vengeance for vengeance's sake.
Indeed. You could not be more right. Revenge is not a thing you take for someone else. You seek revenge to slake your rage and heal your wounded heart. I know you are prepared to do whatever that you must. I could do this by force, you know. Be grateful then that I asked for your leave at all.
You're right. This has to come from me. And I accept your power. Help me win, no matter what it takes.
Ah, yes. You shall make a most worthy vessel after all. And now, behold all that I have discovered at the edge of time.